Welcome. We're doing a deep dive into China's auto market, which is right in the middle of a seismic shift. Based on the very latest data from August 2025, we're going to analyze the new battlegrounds that are now defining the winners and losers.
The numbers are telling us a very clear story. That chaotic, all-out price war we all watched, it's over. But that doesn't mean the competition has cooled down. Far from it. It's just become smarter, more strategic. The fight for China's auto market is now being waged on 4 new and, frankly, much more complex fronts.
So let's lay out these 4 key strategic shifts. These are the new rules of the game.
We're looking at a pivot from a war over price to a war for profit, a major crossroads in technology, a high-stakes global gambit, and finally, the rise of the software enabler. But before we break those down, we need to look at the hard numbers that are driving all of these changes.
All right, let's get into the data. Here is the snapshot of the market as of August 2025.
If there's one number you need to take away from this entire analysis, it's this one. For the first time in history, new energy vehicles, or NEVs, officially crossed a historic threshold. They accounted for 55.2% of all retail passenger car sales in China.
And let's be clear, this isn't just another data point. It's a fundamental tipping point. Electrification has moved from a trend to the new mainstream. For the average Chinese car buyer, NEVs are now the default choice. The game has fundamentally changed.
Now, if you look at the overall market, retail sales to consumers show healthy, steady growth. But that's not the real story here. The wholesale numbers, that's sales to dealerships, and exports are absolutely booming, up nearly 15 and over 20%. This signals strong confidence from dealerships and a dramatic acceleration of China's global push.
Now this slide right here shows one of the most incredible power shifts we've seen in the global auto industry in decades. Domestic Chinese brands now control almost 2/3 of their own market. It's a complete reversal from just a few years ago. You can see the combined share of the historically dominant German and Japanese brands is now less than half of their local competitors.
So that brings us to our first major battleground, the pivot from a price war to a profit war. You might be asking, why did the price wars have to stop? Well, it all boiled down to one thing really: survival.
The financial pressure on these companies has been absolutely immense. Just look at this chart. The industry's average profit margin crashed from a fairly healthy 5.7% in 2022 to a dangerously low 3.5% this July. That's a level that threatens the viability of the entire supply chain. It simply wasn't sustainable.
All that pressure led to this concept of anti-involution. It's essentially an unspoken, fragile truce among competitors. The idea is to stop the mutually destructive race to the bottom on price and instead compete on real value, things like technology, brand, and service. It's a collective, strategic retreat driven by the basic need to stay in business.
Okay, on to our second battleground, and this one is a big one, the technology crossroads. Within the NEV space itself, a huge strategic debate is playing out. Is the future purely battery electric, or do hybrids have a bigger role to play?
When you look at the sales data, the picture is incredibly stark. Pure electric vehicles, the BEVs, are still showing really strong growth at over 38%. But look at the plug-in hybrids and extended-range vehicles. Despite all the hype and attention they received at recent auto shows, their growth is either flat or actually negative. There's a major disconnect here between industry focus and what the market is actually buying.
So this sets up a massive strategic question for the entire industry. Is this huge investment in advanced, long-range hybrids a brilliant move to convert the last holdouts worried about range? Or is it a colossal misallocation of capital, happening just as pure electric technology and charging infrastructure are rapidly getting better? The answer to this will likely determine who leads the market in the years ahead.
Battleground number 3. Global ambitions. It turns out that the absolutely brutal hyper-competition at home was the perfect training ground for Chinese brands to go global.
And the growth has been nothing short of explosive. In August, NEV exports shot up by over 100% compared to last year. These advanced vehicles now make up more than 40% of all of China's car exports. Just a year ago, that figure was only 24%. This makes them the clear spearhead of China's global auto strategy.
But this massive global push is starting to run into some geopolitical realities. Faced with significant tariffs in key markets like the European Union, these companies are being forced to evolve their strategy.
The old model of just shipping finished cars from China is no longer viable. The new playbook is all about localization, building assembly plants and eventually full factories inside their target markets to become, for all intents and purposes, local manufacturers.
And that brings us to our fourth and final battleground. This one may be the most decisive of all. We're talking about the fight for technological supremacy, and it's setting the stage for a massive consolidation of the market.
The new rule of the game is simple. Intelligence is the new horsepower. The value of a car is no longer just in its engine or its handling. It's being defined by its software, its advanced driver assistance systems, and its smart cockpit experience. The car has become a software-defined product.
And right at the heart of this transformation is Huawei. It's emerged as this incredibly powerful technology supplier, what some are calling a Tier 0.5. Its comprehensive, full-stack smart car solution has become a core selling point for a growing number of car brands. This is literally reshaping the industry, forcing car makers into one of two camps. You either join the Huawei Technology Alliance, or you commit to the massive expense and risk of developing everything yourself.
And if you want a sense of just how intense the pressure is, listen to this stark warning from He Xiaopeng, the CEO of XPeng, one of the leading EV startups. It's a brutal assessment of the current state of competition, even from someone at the very top of the game.
And he wasn't just being dramatic. He went on to say that the industry has officially entered what he calls an elimination race. This isn't a growth phase where everyone can win anymore. This is a battle for survival. And his prediction is that this brutal consolidation will last for at least the next 5 years, with many brands simply not making it to the finish line.
So, that's the final question we're left with. As we enter this new era of more calculated, orderly competition, who actually has what it takes to win this 5-year elimination race? It's clear that success will require mastering all 4 of these new battlegrounds: achieving profitability, making the right technology bets, executing a smart global strategy, and, most importantly, winning the war for intelligence. The race has officially begun.